most of you. I only know Alejandro and Nielsen and Jocelyn here. Oh, and I met Rachel. But yeah, so this is me. I'm Yo-Yo Lin, and I'm going to talk about how I didn't want my art to die, so I put it in VR. So basically, I did this 12-minute film on 5 screens in a gallery space because installation art is my passion, and along with animation, so I really wanted to create something where you could experience a cinematic story in a physical space. As you can see here, a beautiful Google SketchUp. That is pretty much the setup that we had with 8 audio channels inside a space, so you can actively participate in a changing soundscape in a room. And this is what used to be the only documentation that we had of the installation. And it was like, fine, it looked pretty cool, but you couldn't really understand what it was at all. So after just 1 week of showing it and just 2 years of putting it together, we had to tear it down. And I was like, wow, that kind of sucks. What do I do next? So I'm like, oh, well, I study animation in school, so why don't I just submit it to film festivals that have new media outlets. But for some reason, even if your installation gets selected, sometimes they don't have room for it. So at South by Southwest, they were like, oh, we love your installation, but we don't have a room big enough to show it. And I'm just like, oh, well, that is fine, I guess. So I ended up, talking to some friends and being like, what if we put this into VR? And, that might just be a horrible idea because installation is, based in real space and going to a venue and experiencing it in the present. But I was like, you know what, let's just go for it, let's do it. So we did it. After 2 months of me crying in front of Unity, seeing this over and over again and bothering Nielsen, I ended up being able to make something at first for the Oculus DK2, which looked horrible, and then we imported it into HTC Vive, and then you could actually walk around, and it was this really dope HTC Vive experience that for some reason South by was we had this group that dropped, you guys can come in and show your VR thing. So we had this massive 20-foot by 20-foot space, and I'm just we could have shown this station here. But whatever, So now it's a different installation with VR headsets. And now it's even weirder because now it's on Steam, so anyone can download it, but it's an art installation. So it's been a very interesting ride, and it just makes me think I'm that guy who is lying on the rug in Inception, and he's like, this isn't my rug, I made this virtual representation of a reality, and I was like, maybe this isn't even as good as reality. So just am I a good artist? What am I doing? So then, but surprisingly enough, I am I love VR, but at the same time, I like real spaces. But there's a sense of presence in VR that tends to just really let you live within the space that no other medium can do, which is actually very interesting. And it makes me think other media-based art installations would be super cool in it, seeing a Deauville piece in a VR headset just to experience it in person because you can't go to Venice to see it would be super cool. And just without VR, I don't think I would have been able to showcase it at all. So it's been really rad. And also the best part I personally think is the emotional response that people still get from the VR experience as they did in the real experience, which makes me think they saw past the medium and were actually able to feel something, which is amazing to me. So what did I make? I'm not sure, but filmmakers like see it as like a cinematic, abstract narrative that they can follow in like 360 space. And like VR developers are like, wow, like this is this like cool experiment where like you're bringing like an art gallery into virtual reality, and like artists, like most importantly, like for people like me, it's like such a cool way of like documenting your work in like no other way like possible, like that photographs and videos can capture. So yeah, now like my work has like a little digital afterlife, and hopefully one day this brings light onto like one day bringing it back to physical form and like some curator sees it. But at this point, I'm pretty happy with where it's at. So yeah, thank you. That's